Looking forward to the first test, India versus England, right here at Timeout with Sportsadda. Hello, Arun. Excited for the first test?
Test match morning, Akhil. How can one not be excited about it? Test match morning. And if I can, I was hoping to, pan my laptop towards my window. It's sunny, it's nice, bright. I hope that's the case in Trent Bridge as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's difficult to explain to people how the first day morning, even if you're not players or not even like remotely close to the ground, just that sheer excitement and watching that toss and the Indian captain going in with that blazer, it's like a dream that we've all lived.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was saying I wait for that moment, first day morning when the captain walks out in the blazer, blue cap to the toss. That's the moment I really enjoy among all the other cricket, but I'm really waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, and I've long had a theory, Arun. I mean, from whatever Test cricket I've watched, uh, usually a 4 to 5 Test match series starts taking color, say second match, third match, where the team start getting warmed up. They know how their game is progressing. They know conditions. They know teams. But I'm just hoping because Trent Bridge has been such a friendly venue for India. Last time also was a good result for us. I hope we start really, really positively and start dominating like right from test one. We don't wait till to get warmed up in test two or test three.
We need a kickstart if that's what you're saying. Absolutely right.
Hmm.
But I'll tell you one other thing why this series is going to be slightly different. Given the scene of the pandemic and all of that, all of the elements concerned with the pandemic, India have been in England for a while. So the dynamics of the series are different. India need to start well, whichever team. In the team that starts well will finish well because as you go along, it's not going to get any more easier. People have been in England in a bubble. It's not as strict as it has been in the past, but it can get to you. And it's therefore important that teams and players start well, keep the foot on the accelerator, don't allow the other team in.
Absolutely. And whatever we've seen in the last overseas series, India has not got off to a start very nicely, except Australia in 2018, 2019. South Africa, we
Adelaide.
lost the first test. England, we lost the first two test matches. We went to Australia this time, we lost in Adelaide here. So it's not New Zealand, we lost the first test match. So always we've started on the back foot. This might be just a good chance considering the conditions are also going to be helpful for us. I hope we just start with a bang. Win the toss. Bloody win the toss now, finally.
No excuses for the Indian team not to start well. They've been in England for a while, but you almost smashed it, Akhil. If you can look at what's happened in the last 7 8 games in England, we'll talk. Look at the tosses that outcome of the tosses. Talking about India's last 7 Test matches in England, we just compiled a list. It's astonishing that Virat Kohli and one Test match in which MS Dhoni was captain, they've not been able to win a toss. Last 7 Test matches, Akhil.
Wow. Like, that's statistically really mind-boggling. Like at some point of time, I'm sure they must be just going through key, what should I say, heads or tails? I mean, you can talk as much as you want in press conferences that tosses don't matter. But very frankly, what we had to go through at Lords last time, or what we had to face when the pitches that we saw when England had come down here and they won the toss in the first test there also, if you remember. So clearly, toss. It's not difficult to always challenge the toss and win. It's one off is fine. You can't do that regularly.
You know, tosses are out of your control. I agree, but you can't have toss as an excuse. I mean, we've all been critical that uh, it, tosses don't matter. Like, I mean, tosses matter, but you shouldn't allow them to dictate term. You're an international side, so you should try and work your way out of that advantage that the opposition's got. But Lodge, you mentioned, it's important that India picked the team correctly. Akhil, Lodge was an astonishing, shocking call, if I remember.
Yeah,
The conditions, it rained, the pitch was green. This is the side that I think will take the field. I'm hearing many things, but
Hmm.
I would like to see KL Rahul open the batting in the absence of Mayank Agarwal. I don't know if that's going to happen. The second selection conundrum for India is, do they play 2 spinners and 3 seamers, or do they go in with 4 quicks and 1 spinner? What's your take, Akhil?
I just get a feeling that Virat Kohli likes to surprise us with selections. He's been doing that since having taken over the captaincy. So I just have my doubts right from, if you remember, Karan Sharma playing sometime in Australia. Uh,
Yeah.
these are the kind of things which have stuck. Kuldeep playing at Lords directly. So maybe he likes to surprise and like maybe challenge himself as a batsman much more to try and score more runs. I'm expecting a surprise. I think they will play maybe a fourth seamer instead of Ravindra Jadeja from the last team that we played. So
That's
with
going to be
Virat,
a shocker for me, Akhil. Leaving Jadeja out after all that he's done in the last 12, 18 months, I have to say that will be a shocker, but I'm completely with you.
hmm, you can't expect like the normal things from Virat Kohli as a captain. What about the England
And
squad?
Ravi Shastri. Yeah, the England squads, they've got a bigger headache. Remember, they don't have Ben Stokes, who was their biggest match winner. But the other conundrum England have got is, do they play Johnny Bairstow at 3?
Hmm,
Everybody I've spoken to from England, the former
yeah.
cricketers, rate him as among the top batsmen in the country. He'll be in the top 3, top 4 batsmen. Hence, I've slotted him at number 3. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. I
Hmm,
think they might look at Zach Crawley at number 3, but
yeah.
I like Johnny Besto at number 3, Root 4, Dan Lawrence 5, Josh Butler 6, and thereafter. The bowling sorted, but that's the one area I don't know. I'm not pretty sure which way England are going to go.
Yeah, I agree. I think Lawrence had got runs last time that they played test matches, so he'll keep his spot. So it's Bairstow or Crawley at number three. I agree with you. Bairstow has scored runs against us. He's shown that he has the quality to tackle.
He did well in Sri Lanka
Crawley,
as well.
he got those important runs and then he was sent to rest at home. He missed a few matches. Uh,
Don't get
so
there. Don't talk about that.
so yeah, I mean, Besto is my pick. I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the spinner? Will it be Jack Leach or you think they'll play the off spinner? He's been in good form in their red ball.
Yeah, but if you remember what India did to Dom Bess when they toured here in India, they they just, I mean, demolished him completely. I don't see Dom Best playing. I think he's also got problems with his control. We've not watched a lot of him since the Test series, so I don't know
Yeah.
how much he's worked on his game, how much has he improved. But Jack Leach gives you a bit of control. He's he's a decent bat as well. So if you need somebody to hang around, be stubborn, not give a wicket, which has always been a thorn in India's flesh, so I think they will go with Jack Leach. Left armour can keep things quiet, so there's a lot of elements there. Hence, I'm going with Jack Leach.
Okay. He's found a way to get wickets here in India also, where he saw that ball was skidding along, especially in that pink ball test match. So he's got wickets. He got Virat. I think he got Rahane. He got Pujara. So he bowled. He was a threat when they last came here. So what about India in England, Arun? Like you mentioned about the results there, you mentioned about the tosses. Uh, what else do you think that India should be worried about going into the first Test match? What do you think the focus should be?
Before we get there, Akhil, one important thing I missed out. Just remembered, this Test match, as it's always the case in England. I just looked up the weather forecast this morning, and there are 2 days of rain. My notes at the top says Friday and Saturday weather. So
Oh,
we probably will lose 2 complete days. So this is going to be a 3-day Test match.
so again 3-day Test match, huh? If I hope the pitch has a lot of green, then at least we should have some result coming in. We don't want a rainstorm draw.
No, the pitch had green, but I read a couple of the former players. I think it was Joe Root as well who spoke about it at the press conference yesterday. He said there's a bit of grass on it, but because the sun's been out last 3 4 days, it's become turned a little browner, and it will become drier as we go along, like as in leading to today. So there is grass, but I don't know how much you can make of that grass. Uh, I don't know. Like I said, first test, everybody's thinking, what should I do? What team should I go with? What are the conditions going to do? Look up, look down. I don't know. There's so many elements. That's the exciting bit about Test cricket.
It's very true about that. And I wanted to just throw in a couple of pointers to you, Arun. Interesting pointers again that a lot of us cricket fans must be debating. There is a lot of talk about averages going around, Arun. There's a lot of averages numbers being thrown around where Indian batsmen, middle order batsmen, are averaging so and so in England, so and so after 2020. Very frankly, I mean, I've spent a lot of time reading through articles, researching the numbers also myself. But the everybody who's talking about these averages, not a single person who scored 100 in England has spoken anything about it. I haven't heard a single word from a Ganguly, a Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid. These are the gentlemen who've scored hundreds, Virender Sehwag. They haven't uttered a word about the averages in England, or they haven't heard or spoken about bad form for any of the players or anything. I think what a lot of experts and everybody who's become a cricket writer are missing out is that uh, it's not easy to score runs anymore in the World Test Championship. The home teams are making pitches which are absolutely bowler friendly. They want results for their own thing, and DRS is now thrice for each of the bowling attacks. In these conditions, I think the averages are not going to be high. The consistency is not going to be as high.
Couple of points, Akhil. A, I I will take all that you're saying, but I will also add one point there. If you look at it, I think the overall quality of test match batting has declined. I mean, that's my
Definitely
personal take. You no longer have people playing test matches the way they were played. Like you can go back to Tendulkar, you can go back to previous era, you can go back to Graham Gooch and all of those, Viv Richards and Brian Lara. So the quality of test match batting across the globe, I'm not talking about India only, England only, has
true. Very
definitely
true.
declined. But
Yeah.
but but yes, a lot of things have changed. DRS most importantly, and pitches being tailor made to suit home teams. Uh, yes, hence the decline in batting averages. If you look at you won't get too many batsmen averaging 50, 60. Not going to happen anymore. But since you spoke about averages, I just want to throw these numbers at you. The one worry England will have, and I read this from Mark Ramprakash, who was the former England batting coach.
Batting
He
coach.
says England's batting is not that strong, looks brittle. Now look at what this is England's potential top six. There are
Hmm.
seven names, but one of them will miss out. Look at the average. Ignore Joe Root for a second.
Yeah.
Rory Burns 32, Dom Sibley 33, Zach Crawley 30, Johnny Bairstow 24. For somebody who's rated among the top four batsmen, Joe Root class apart 50, Dan Lawrence 29, Josh Butler 40. This doesn't inspire a lot of confidence if you're a captain, if you're a coach, if you're a selector, if you're a fan.
Yeah. I mean, you're spot on. Like these are very, very well crafted numbers that you've actually picked out. And you're right. It shows that the batting averages are not as high. Maybe the matches are not going to be as high scoring as they used to be previously. So maybe we have to start accepting that these averages are going to be norm, and it's going to be a bowler dominated test series wherever now we play.
Hmm, hmm. Which is
But
good. Bowlers make series, bowlers make test matches exciting.
absolutely. I mean, for me to watch a Indian pace attack go to England, and like I'm sure they'll also be hoping a Bumrah and a Shami and Ishant and Siraj will be hoping that these kind of averages just stick around, because they also want to prove a point now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Virat Kohli must be saying, bowlers, you've looked at these numbers. A, it's not great quality. Here's your opportunity to run through sides. Here's the red cherry. And Bumrah, Shami, Ishant must be saying, yeah, I mean, we can get them. Let's back ourselves to get these guys cheaply.
The
One guy who could be a thorn in India's flesh, Akhil. We saw those numbers. They're 50.9, I think. Joe Root. Virat Kohli needs to get him back in the dressing room quickly.
Yeah, Virat Kohli got him run out last time, if you remember, and then had a celebration to show a bat dropping or something during the test match. Yes. So I mean, whatever Virat Kohli can do, he can just catch in the slips or he can run him out. But apart from that, I don't think he will be able to do much. But I'm sure they must be having a plan for Joe Root because, like you mentioned, he's got off to good starts against India in all the test matches that we've played, all the test series that we've played. And he
You
enjoys
just look at
batting.
those numbers. Just look at those numbers of Joe Root Akhil. Series
Wow.
openers against India.
Wow. And he's not just scored in India. I mean, he's not just scored at home in England. He's also come to India and got massive scores. 124, 218. These are like big scores in the first test.
Hmm. 154, 124, 80, 218. These are big scores, big scores. And in the absence of Ben Stokes, he's the most important player in the England lineup. So yeah, in Virat Kohli, Ravi Shastri, the analyst, all the bowlers, this is the guy you need to look out for.
And he's a quiet player, Arun. You never know when he reaches 30, 35 so easily. He just gets his runs very quickly. He doesn't come and like hit many shots, doesn't take risks in test match cricket. But by the time I think you look at the scorecard, you just realize he's already got 30 runs. Like 30, 40 is a very normal score for him in all innings that he plays.
Classical test match player. One here, and then you look it up 35, 40, like you said. I like watching them play. I enjoy watching them play. Uh, I want him to score runs, but not too many.
Yeah, very true. That's how he wanted to. Kane Williamson also, lots of runs. So we are looking at the same thing for Joe Root. So what
Quickly
are the
talk
interesting
about
numbers?
quickly talk about three bowlers. We've got to talk about bowlers. RASHWIN doesn't get uh, as much credit as he should. We've
Yeah.
spoken about him in the past. He opens Test match series with a bang, doesn't he?
He opens very well. He's always proven a threat. He took his game to a different level in Australia for the first two test matches. Bowled beautifully. That is, I think, the best of Ashwin that I love watching. Bowled well to Steve Smith, Marcus Labuschagne, and didn't allow them to get off to start. So you're right. These are like extraordinary numbers that he puts out in first outings in overseas series. And this is a trend for multiple years now, Arun. It's not just one or two test matches.
Correct. And Mr. Sanjay Manjrekar, if you're listening, 5 wicket hauls do not count. It is these kind of numbers which will also win you test matches or which will, you know, help the team win test matches. It could be 3 wickets, 4 wickets, but you're right. Ashwin in the first test match of overseas series has been good, and I'm hoping he starts that way. He's been around for a while now in England. I hope he starts that way.
And he's one rare personality, Arun, who got a red ball game in during the break that we had, if you remember. So
Correct.
look at his commitment. He's going and he's trying. He could have spent time with family or like taken a break,
Sunday
but he
was it?
went out. Yes, he played that match. He opened the bowling. He got some 6 to 7 wickets or so.
Wickets. Yes. Yeah.
So I mean, if you give him good like proper bowling conditions where he gets to bowl a lot of overs, has the confidence of the captain, where you give him a field that he likes, he is a massive threat. So
Yeah.
I'm a big
Absolutely.
Ashwin fan. I hope he gets wickets. I love watching spin.
I've been critical of him in the past for experimenting, but ever since he stuck to his off break, he can use his variations as variations. Uh, Off spin, the more the better. And if he does that, he will be successful. I like that. A couple of other quick contests, Akhil. Virat Kohli v Anderson, mouth watering.
Yes, we spoke about it in the series preview also. It's a contest. Two series in England have passed. It was lovely to watch last time. It was on par with my cricket watching of Dale Steyn bowling to Tendulkar in 2010
Hmm.
series, if you remember. So Virat
Hmm.
versus Anderson was absolutely lovely. If you remember very clearly, Arun, he was dropped in the slips in the first Test match a couple of times of Anderson, where the second slip wouldn't actually pick up the catch. Yes, so I mean, that is a short kind of luck that you need, right? Imagine if you would have got out early, again the mental demons would have started. So these are
Scarring.
some these are some kind of luck sessions that you need, and like he capitalized. He's a great player. He knows when to get his runs. He'll be motivated again. He'll want to get that 100, show his bat to the dressing room where the families are sitting and make a proper show out of it.
Hasn't got 100 in a long time, Akhil. There's pressure riding on his shoulders. Long time. Pick up
Yeah.
the newspapers, they talk about. I think you probably recorded as well
We
that he hasn't got
recorded
a
there
hundred
is
in the while. Yeah,
621 days. That's what.
there's a lot of people on social media talking about the fact that Virat Kohli is not 100. For somebody who's among the top batsmen in the world, the expectations are so high. He needs to get 100.
Yeah, and he's a proud man. The expectations from him is that every time he goes out to bat, he should get 100, whichever format it is, whether he plays for his club side. So he's a proud man. He'll want to make his mark, definitely.
Yeah. Last one before we wrap. Ajinkya Rahane v Stuart Broad. Another exciting contest.
Exciting contest, yes. My favorite player in the team, obviously. Uh, I mean, he's an impact player, Arun. I don't read much into the runs scored or the balls. I mean, that is something in Test match cricket can't really figure out. But they've played so much cricket against each other now. I think this is a third or fourth series of 4 to 5 Test matches. So there is going to be a pattern where he gets out against one. I don't see a pattern about his 5 dismissals. So I think they've all been the traditional nicking outside off stump to first slip or something. If you remember last Redbridge Test match, also Ajinkya got out on 81 where he tried to hit a cover drive of Broad. So I think dismissals will happen, but Stuart Broad is always a threat, and you can't ride him out. He takes those impact wickets for England in a cluster, wins them games. Ajinkya scoring runs has always led to victories in England. So two impact players.
I looked at Stuart Broad's numbers against India in England. He averages 20, Akhil, against India. 20. A modern day
Wow.
bowler averaging 20 against the side. And he's bowled to Tendulkar's, Dravids, he's bowled to Virat Kohli's. I mean, the best of the Indian batsmen.
Yeah, he finds the length, and like we spoke, he's been at it
He's
since the
bowled to the best of the
2012
Indian
series.
batsmen. Sorry.
Correct. So if you remember, he's been a real thorn. He's picked up that hat trick very early on in the first series that he played against us. He's caused a ripple whenever he's come on to bowl. He's created fantastic bowler. Looking forward to watch him bat. Also looking forward to watch Ajinkya bat. I've spoken about it multiple times. He scores runs. Huge impact on India winning the Test match. Okay, we've covered a lot of topics here, and we are going to be back here at Timeout Sportsadda talking about the Test match, the Test series. Please do join us again. Always fun talking cricket.